Good morning, everybody. Hey, Brenda. TJ. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
So,
Another day, another Friday, huh?
yeah, gotta go back in a couple hours and I'm off. The next weekend we got a 3-day weekend.
Oh, it's coming up on Easter, isn't it?
I don't know. It just says district holiday on the on our calendars. It doesn't say what it is for though. So I'm not sure what the
TJ is in the chat. Yep.
might be. I think Good Friday's that Friday too. I don't know. It might be because of that. I'm not sure. What's up, TJ, Brenda, Jim?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning. Good morning, Brenda. Giggles is here.
Looks like China upped their tariffs to 125.
Yep. Yes, they did.
We're up to 145 now. Telling you, they're gonna be the ones that lose more than we do, because they depend on way more imports than we do from us
Good
than we
morning,
do from
Ed.
them.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Yeah, the tariff thing's going to probably go on for a while, but a lot of the smaller tariffs will be discarded. But
well, that's all the ones with the other countries.
yep.
But now that $2,000 drone's gonna cost you about 4,500 or about 5,000.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Yeah, everybody's going to be making a trip to Canada to pick them up.
They're almost gonna have to at this point.
Hey, and in the chat between Jim and Giggles, they're giving me a love fest. You see that? The yeah, China went to 145, right?
No, 125. We're at
125. We're
145.
at 145.
But like I said, they depend on us more than we depend on them, because they import a lot more stuff or export a lot more stuff to us
Frank says
than
if
we
you
do to them.
order
9,000? That's
yeah,
crazy.
a Mavic 4 now with the import fees, it's almost $9,000.
Yeah, I guarantee nobody over here is going to be buying any new drones,
Nope.
because that's a lot of money. I mean, most of the guys, they're willing to spend 2-3 grand on a new drone, but 9,000, especially for a drone, that's not worth that much.
Right.
and you're just paying a bunch of import fees. Like, why would you want to? That's just dumb.
Yeah, it's not like it's a super drone or anything. It's just a normal stock.
Well, the thing is you got most of these guys got plenty of drones that have plenty of newer technology in it. They don't really need that one to do what they want to do. If they're getting it, they're just getting it out of want, not necessity.
Some of those guys are gonna have to take an extra loan in their house.
I mean, there's going to be some guys with like to review all the news drones that are going to spend the money and buy it, but I would say they're dumb for doing it. It ain't
That's
worth it at the
crazy.
end of the day. Especially I mean, there's only a handful of YouTube channels that it's worth them buying it and reviewing it because they will make the money back off of views and ad revenue and all that. But there's a lot of smaller channels in the drone community that buy all the latest shit and review it, and they're not going to see that return ever. Not even close.
Frank said Paul's gonna be busy at going across the bridge.
Paul's gonna have his own little black market. It's gonna be like the damn
Yeah.
alcohol prohibition. But the thing is you guys might not even get it right away because you guys are getting delays in shipments on electronics because it's screwing with all the world's supply chain
Yeah.
as far as from stuff from coming from China that's made in China. I said the video game industry, you guys are going to see a lot of delays on stuff. And that's going to go hand in hand with any other electronics or any other technology stuff coming out of there.
Well, we just have to wait and see, I guess.
This is why Apple was flying in plane after plane of iPhones last week, because they were trying to get as many phones in the country as possible before the tariffs kicked in.
Trying to get them stocked. Yeah.
I heard that they did like 6 cargo planes jam packed. Like they jam packed 6 cargo planes full.
Wow.
Probably had a few 100,000 iPhones on it, not more.
It's all TJ's fault.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens because I know Trump ain't gonna back down. There's no fucking way.
Oh no, even the other one, the Chinese one, he won't back down either.
But see, they devalued their currency again down to 7.2%, which is really low. And their housing market has crashed. They tried to show that they had a 5% GDP increase the last quarter, which most economists around the world, like 98% of them, agree that they were lying, that they're full of shit, that they actually had a negative growth. That's the thing. You can't believe any of the numbers coming out of there either because they lie about it. Like their economy's already suffering enough. And then there were some leaked videos that got out of China of people uh, that were going around warehouses and they were showing how everything has just stopped production and how they're saying all these American companies have stopped ordering stuff. And yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting. But we're the largest consumer market in the world, so I think we're like the third of the whole world's consumer market. Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. What? What are you talking about, TJ?
TJ going to work, or is he just sitting there with a bowl of cereal in his lap?
I thought he said he was off yesterday and today, I think. I think he said he had 2 days off.
Here comes Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. What's up?
Another day in
Yes.
paradise.
Right.
Ed's gonna regale us on his activities over the last week and what he's planning for next week.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're 34% of the world's consumer market. That's a big. What?
She said she was coming hit in the head.
Gonna hit Ed in the head? Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm coming to hit you Ed in the head.
Oh, we got confirmation yesterday that they are putting a target in our city, so they already have the location picked.
You said Russia has a target on your city. What?
No, I said we were getting a target in our city.
Oh, I heard you say other.
Ed in the head.
Russia
Sorry,
can't even take
Turkey.
Ukraine. I'm
Oh.
worried. I'm worried about them targeting a city in the U.S.
See the giggles, Frank. Hey,
Was,
if you see Jody, tell him I said hi, Frank. Brenda.
I think Jody was in here. Yeah, Jody's in here. Yep.
No, Frank's here.
No, it's Jody.
It's Frank. That's Frank.
No,
That's Jody's brother, Frank.
That's his other Jody.
That's his twin brother. Come on, guys.
What's
He's
up,
just
Mark?
telling y'all that. It's two different people.
No, it's the same person, but he's just using his
Cell phone versus his computer.
And Mark.
Yeah.
What's up?
And there's Marky.
Hi, Paul, Joe, TJ, Justin, Ed.
What's
So,
up, Mark? Good morning or good afternoon.
Good evening.
good afternoon, good evening, and
Afternoon.
good night.
Quarter past 2.
You did a good job this morning there, Paul. You got the play sound when somebody enters, joins, and leaves, but you don't have a waiting room
Yeah.
because you're just popping in.
The waiting room usually is on.
Well, you must have took it off.
you go there, click it back on. Same place you turn the sound on. Or
You don't know where
or
it's at.
Either that or it's under.
You have a waiting room now, Paul.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to do the sound. He's only been doing this for 45 years.
Joe, I like your little photographer man.
You like that?
Yeah. that's
Oh yeah,
pretty cool.
this little photography man. Yeah.
Well, let me show you.
I still
I'm
can't
sure-
get
hold
into
on a
do
minute.
mine. It won't let me in.
You should have seen what I had to do to do that one.
Well, what you ought to do is send that to Mattel, and they'll probably print it and make it a toy.
Yeah, they'll laugh. They'll laugh. But that's
Now,
basically what I look.
who is
It's almost what I look like on the field.
who is the one that started that?
I have
That
no
was,
idea, but I'm stopping it.
It was just an AI program, and then it just caught fire. But I think the AI, whoever owned that program that was started doing it, should have marketed off of that and actually offered
Well,
to make them.
They should have given you the option of, okay, you can do it for X amount of dollars, but you can also we can manufacture what you make and we'll send it to you.
I would have
Well,
went
this
out and
is-
bought my own, but I would have went out and bought my own like little action figure.
Well, this is the site that I made. Oh, come on. It's not showing the wrong. I didn't hit that.
'Cause
I
I've been
said share
seeing.
it, hit the wrong one.
I've been seeing.
That's the page. When they go on the Mandeville football site, they got a place on here, action photos. You click on it, it's going to go to this site. So that's going to be my site. and then you click on it says the information site right here. It's going to say weekly season information site. You click on that, it brings you right into the pictures.
Well, in the bottom corner, it should say, if you would like to have your own Captain Joe.
No. Did you like that? Capturing your scriptures, action, sports, memories, one frame at a time. Like that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Joe,
And I got me
there's,
standing right here like I look on the field.
Joe,
I
there's
think it's pretty cool.
there's a business thing for you.
I
Offer
think
the
it's going to be
little,
pretty cool. No.
offer, all the photographs you take of the teams and everything.
Mhm.
You sell them posters and hands. How about selling them little action figures?
That'd be a good thing. I'd like to get one made and give it to my granddaughter.
Well, what you got to do is research who you could send it to have them make it.
I've
Oh,
already looked
Justin
into
did
it,
that.
Oh,
and
did
there's
you?
all, yeah, but there's only companies that offer big manufacturing that you have to order like a minimum 5,000 action figures
Oh, okay.
before they'll even consider your business. I wasn't able to find any companies that just made single ones except for one company, but they wanted like $400 to make it. And it's not worth it. If Joe just wants an action figure, Joe could just print one.
Yeah, I could play with it and probably get one close. I got all the stems made. All the stems for the lily, for the tulips. Now I got to print all the bulbs. Got 4 more days of printing because I do it overnight, so I don't have to deal with it.
Or
Okay, what
even
is,
if you
what-
can't
what's your-
buy the action, then what about all these pictures that people are putting up at the moment with action figures on cards? Just do the pictures of those.
Yep. Shirt says it's weird being the same age as old people,
oh,
but it's getting old. It's coming apart.
it's weird being the same age as old people.
And actually,
All
if
I
you
know,
really,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, actually, if you really wanted to do action figures and you wanted real good detail, you'd do a resin printer.
Mhm.
Those things are like perfect for doing that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, too much work. I'll stick with the picture. But last week when I weighed myself, when taking I've been feeling different, and I said I'm gaining weight. I'm gaining weight. I went in there and I was 264 pounds, and I said, nah, bullshit. So I kind of cut back over the last week. I'm 253 and a half right now.
Nice.
Why are women more whatever about their weight than men are?
If you
ain't
knew
going
that,
down.
if you do that, you'd win the
When
lottery.
when my wife and I go well sometimes when we've gone into Publix before, you know, like when you walk into Publix, they have that big scale you weigh yourself. Like when we would go in there, she would get on. She's like, down black. Like, what?
I'm
that's
staying out of
because,
this
TJ,
conversation.
you don't walk around with a great big bubble butt either.
Yeah, I probably do. I don't really, but
So
I don't
is
know,
Paul
like
saying all women have bubble butts?
Yeah, it's a natural genetic thing.
All right, go down that fucking rabbit hole. I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Nope.
I got my disclaimer up. Yeah, I'm gonna change it to especially Paul. Make it bigger now. I have to put another disclaimer going across my face. Okay,
Jim
now we know why he's not married. Okay.
Jim says he could make you an action figure with Play-Doh.
Yeah,
Walmart.
Jim.
That's
I
funny.
mean, technically you could if you knew how to sculpt good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could put it in one of those, I don't know, you could put it in something to make it stay like that, or just like let it stand out so it hardens or whatever.
Yeah, put inside the
Try
freezer.
something, yeah.
Or you can make it out of clay and put it in one of those clay burners or whatever.
Y'all got too much work for me to do.
Like I said, I tried to get into one of those websites that didn't let me. They start crying.
So when is your son got his interview, Joe?
You don't yet. He's
Oh.
waiting. We're just waiting. That's why I would never buy a bamboo printer. When you sign an account, they got to send you a verification code.
Oh,
Too much
that's
work.
almost-
Well,
That's
they
almost
gotta
every
make sure you
website
get
now.
the right person.
Oh no, I'm getting tired of all that crap.
Two-step verification. Yeah, but two-step is really hard to get around if you're trying to get somebody's shit too. That's the reason why so many companies use it now.
It is for
So you
me.
don't-
They send the two-step verification to my Android TV box.
Well, the two ways that most people will get it these days is either they'll steal somebody's email, or there's that new thing where they'll send you that code through Google and they'll steal your phone number. So you got to watch out for that too. They try that shit on Facebook Marketplace all the time. They'll send you a thing, a request from Google, and I'll ask you for this number, and then they can actually steal your phone number by doing that. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's one way that they get around the two-step. They're not actually hacking the two-step. They're either stealing the phone number that's connected to the accounts, or they steal the email. That's why your email is the most important thing to keep an eye on. Like, make sure you have a good password on that and everything, because you got to remember almost everything's connected to that. If somebody gets your email, and then they can pretty much get most of your shit.
Yeah, I guess that's what's a bit safer of them sending it to my Android TV box, because nobody else has got that unless they nick it out of my house.
Yeah, and even if they stole it, they probably wouldn't know what the hell the verification codes were for when it sent it to them anyway.
Yeah.
Because does it even tell you, like, is it from like Facebook or Google, or does it just, the code just pop up on the screen?
It just comes on the TV screen.
You need to figure out how to switch that, because what if that fucking box, well, I guess you have the account with it. I was gonna say, because what if that box fucking quits on you one day?
Yeah. I think it's still through Google, because an Android TV uses Google.
Yeah, so you should have an account with that anyway if you got a new one. Just hopefully they don't send it to the old one trying to get the new one to go log in.
Yeah.
See, man, I had that weird shit with my old email. Google locked it, and then they tell me I go to log in, and it says I can send the two-step to either Sarah's email or my phone number. I send it to either one. I get the code, I put it in, and then it says it's another code to the email I'm locked out of, and I need to get that code. So somehow it got like a 3-step verification. But it's just a circle. You can't get into the email, so how the fuck am I supposed to get that code?
Yeah,
Makes
I
no
know the
sense.
feeling.
And Google was fucking useless with helping me. I called up, they actually have a 1-800 number here in the US for emails. I called their customer service up. They said, well, oh, we don't have access to anybody's emails. I asked the lady, I said, well, what the hell's the point of your job then? If you guys
Yeah.
can't ask basic information and unlock an account for somebody, what do you guys
Sound
do
like
all
me.
day? So that's all they did was they just read off the same shit that the website told you to do. Just keep trying to log in over time. Eventually, it'll let you in. The fuck kind of bullshit is that? Like, what kind of response is that? And that was the only response they had for me. The only thing that they could do for me was read off the same shit the website told me, even after I explained to them. And then they sent me a form. I filled out everything on the form with the exact information. Then they sent me an email back to my new email saying it wasn't enough. We couldn't verify you through the information you sent us. Like, okay, whatever. I had that email for like almost 15 years and you can't verify me. Okay.
Warren, what's up?
It's like FedEx yesterday when I told I said, she goes, "Where is the package coming from?" And I told her, and I said, "The package is about this. It's a cup in it, 2 cups, 2 different packages." And I said, "I've been living here for 16 years. My
What's up, Warren?
apartment number." And I gave my apartment number, right? She goes, "Well, I can't change that." Okay. She says you have to have the shipper do that. I said, "The shipper you can't get them. It's Sam's photo. I don't know which branch made it." I said, "It might take a week to even get to him." I said, "So why can't you just put a note in the file? This is the apartment number. He could verify my address. I can sign for it." "Well, we can't. We're not allowed to do that." She said, "But you can put in a ticket and do that." I said, "Then why didn't you tell me that in the beginning?"
Yeah, but the
I
shipper
said, "Where's
can't
it?"
go into their system and change shit. So
Yeah,
how
I
is the
said,
shipper supposed to change that?
"That's what but she said, I said, "Well, where's it located at?" I said, "It says it's in Covington." She goes, "Yeah, it's at the Covington location." I said, "On Causeway." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, can I pick it up there since it's not moving?" "Oh, you could go do that." I said, "So what are you there for?" Because you're not telling me what I can do. You're just telling me what I can't do.
Yeah.
You know? I think I added bitch in the beginning of it.
That's what I said. I laughed when I talked to Google, and it's like I wonder how many hundreds of people they have answering these phones just to read off one thing that they say you can do, and that's the only option they have.
Here he goes.
That's pretty good, Jim. That's pretty good.
And there he goes.
Well, I'm not looking forward to this afternoon. I've got to go and have a tooth out.
No, they're gonna drug you up though, right?
Yeah. Now, I had a tooth that snapped just below the gum line, so they've got to dig the rest of it out.
Who's taking you?
Hey?
Who's taking you to the dentist?
Oh, Kate's taking me.
You better make sure you have no dark secrets you don't know about. Otherwise, you're gonna end up revealing them.
Oh, she knows all my dark secrets.
Oh, dude, I laugh when I see people all drugged up from the dentist and they start just saying all this random shit.
Yeah. I went in there a couple years back I had a couple teeth that had to be taken out in the back, and he's working on them. And the person helping she was absolutely gorgeous, and it was when the Saints were really playing good that year. And she had something on her that said Saints. I said, "You're a Saints fan?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, how much of a Saints fan are you?" She goes, "Well, I have a tattoo that says something about the Saints." I said, "You're going to show it to me?" And she's laughing and he's laughing. And she goes, "I can't show you where it's at." I said, "Well, I'll peek and I won't tell anybody." So I'm trying to get her to show me the tattoo, right? And she goes, "I don't know if my dad would like it." I said, "Well, your dad's not here." And he goes, "Yes, I am." So when the doctor said, "Yes, I am," I said, "Oh, shit."
Joe's like, "I think I'll get a second opinion on this tooth." Walking out.
I was thinking, he could do anything to me. He might be giving me a vasectomy, and I don't even know.
Hey, Ed. TJ's on a roll.
I think Ed can tell. It's funny when he starts laughing so hard he fucks his mic up.
Read.
Buddy, that's pretty good. That's funny.
Open the window for fresh air. Open the window for fresh air.
I know. I know. I know.
Why, so his neighbors can call the cops? You think somebody's dying in this house? Or a fucking monkey's getting strangled or something?
A monkey on the tree.
Oh, fuck.
There it goes. Paul, you do realize that you'll be a contributing factor in that involuntary manslaughter.
That's funny.
We're gonna say you pushed him over.
That's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty
See you
good.
later, man. Have a good one.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Later, Warren.
That's
See
pretty
you there.
good. That's funny.
Hey, Joe, you ready to put up $9,000 for that Mavic 4?
That's funny.
Hell no. That will never happen in my lifetime.
Get your motor running.
Ugh.
Head out on the highway.
All right, somebody put them two in their own breakout room.
Yeah, no. Just block them.
You guys are lucky he's not eating
Warren
his
said his
cereal.
dog shit. See everyone later. Or his dog's eating ice cream, one of the two.
Well, if we keep TJ going long enough, he's going to shit his drawers too. So.
I like how now the ice cream emoji has turned into the poop emoji.
Wow.
Well, that goes along with the phrase that TJ used, eat shit, you know?
Because that used to be an ice cream emoji, and now if you put in poop, it comes up as that one. And if you put in ice cream, it actually comes up with the ice cream down there. Just like the praying hands used to be a high five, and then they switched it because of how many people were using it for that.
Jim.
Killing them.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
That's funny.
Pretty good.
Hey,
That's
TJ.
pretty good.
TJ. Hey, TJ. TJ, go to your refrigerator and get a hot dog out. I got an idea.
No, no.
He'll tell you where to stick it, TJ.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh,
Yeah, this is pretty good, TJ.
That's pretty good.
TJ, when you eat a banana, do you break it off and eat it with your hands, or do you?
No, I ate a banana yesterday and I broke it off and I was putting it in my mouth.
Okay. So you eat it like a man then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. That's pretty good. That's funny. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Can you your neighbors knock on the door yet?
No, not yet.
Damn it! I swear to God.
Oh, fuck.
That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Telling you the cops are gonna knock on his door and they're gonna be like, we got reports of a monkey being strangled.
That's funny. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
Oh,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
TJ
man.
totally needs a spider monkey in his life.
That's funny. That's pretty good. That's funny. Oh, that was pretty good.
Bro, you've been laughing so long, I don't even know what you're laughing about anymore.
Hey, TJ, you can scroll back and replay it and start over again.
God, he's got to have lungs of a fucking whale, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'd have passed out from fucking oxygen deprivation by now.
You don't smoke, eh, TJ?
No, he doesn't. I bet he could hold his breath for like 5 minutes underwater there.
TJ, take it easy, man. You're gonna hurt yourself, bro. That don't sound too, TJ, that don't sound too good, bro. You're moaning like that. You're done?
I think so. I think so.
You finish? You finish?
Woo!
Sound like
What?
Boone.
You know he's got to be in pain, got to be hurting somewhere, strains up.
Well, dude, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night laughing and giggling?
I don't know. Man, I think I've done it in my sleep a few times. I think.
Tell you what, if I was laying in bed, my wife started doing that on the side, I think I'd have to hit her. Sort of laughing like that and carrying on like that. I think she's possessed or something. I'll be doing exorcism.
She's possessed. That's funny.
Well, isn't that the reason she refuses to sleep with you?
I still think there's a gas leak in TJ's house.
Yeah, like,
Oh, like acid lamp?
Yeah,
you see,
whenever
what we
he's
don't
at-
realize, is next door is a dentist.
There's a dentist.
There's a dentist next door, and his laughing gas seeps in every once in a while.
That's funny.
Whenever TJ leaves the house, he's just normal. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?"
Or there's somebody sitting out there smoking some of that 420 stuff. They'd be too mellow for that.
TJ, do you ever go into a laughing giggle at work?
Yeah. Everybody in the store can hear me, and they're all like, "Man, he must be having a really good time."
You must love your job, huh?
I guess. But to be honest, really, like, I don't want to do that shit forever, though. I definitely want to get out of there. But I just got to figure out, like, what else I want to do.
We could always go back to tree trimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw this. This is a picture right before that family got on the helicopter yesterday.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, that's sad. I was watching some pictures of it. They were showing on
Yeah,
the
that's
news.
sad.
It looks like they jumped out of the helicopter because there was like stuff falling into the river.
No, that was the propellers.
That was parts of the
Yeah.
copter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
propellers
TJ.
sheared off. One of them sheared off and took the tail section off.
You'll get out of there when you're older. It's called retirement, mate.
That's sad. You know that?
Yeah, that is, man.
What
So
happened?
none of those family members, none of them survived. They all died.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, the pilot too.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
saying that 4 of them died instantly and 2 were sent to the hospital and they died after in the hospital or something like that.
Fuck.
Well, there's two main factors that would have killed you in that: the impact,
And the blades.
and if the copter went underwater and you ended up drowning in it.
Yeah, yeah. I would have just jumped out, but I mean, at that time,
See-
you don't think of that shit.
And the only way they would have been able to tell if the 4 died instantly is because there wasn't any water in their lungs.
Yeah.
And Dusty.
That's
Yeah,
sad.
no, it's
Well,
a
and the
shitty
sad
way
part
to-
of it is, Ed, in that kind of an enclosed helicopter, you can't just jump out because you can't. The pressure keeps the doors. You can't open the doors.
Well, if it was upside down, they couldn't jump out anyway, or they'd hit the props.
Yeah, because
Couldn't they do like a Mission Impossible kind of deal, like where they shoot outward?
Helicopters aren't pressurized.
the wind
be able-
resistance of falling.
Oh, it depends on how the door opens. So a lot of helicopter doors just slide open like a minivan.
Yeah.
But I mean, that happened so quick they wouldn't have thought to jump out of
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's only the back doors that slide, though. The front ones open normally.
Yeah. It all
At
depends
least
on
they-
the helicopter. They're all designed different.
At least the good thing is nobody, no other families survived and they had to go through all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
What's their preliminary guess on why it crashed? Because we're not going to get the actual full report for like another probably 6 months to a year.
Well, there you go, TJ. You could apply to be a tour helicopter pilot.
Yeah,
Nah.
I'd have to get my license and all that stuff.
You see how nervous he is about getting a 107? You want him
Yeah.
to get a helicopter pilot's license?
You got
And that's
you
it.
got what? Oh, 107, no, TJ?
And that's
said
actually
what?
one of the most expensive licenses to get too.
What happened,
No,
Ed?
no, Ed, he doesn't have a 107.
Oh, you don't
Yeah,
have
no.
one.
He's talked
No.
about it, but it's all been.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he's
I
already
keep talking, but I'm not doing anything about it.
he's nervous about taking the test.
Yeah.
What it is. Is he?
You guys have
TJ,
like your
do
you
what?
guys have like your beginners, like you know how like what do you call it?
Yeah, we have a trust test, but you can't really fill it. It's only like 15 questions or some crap. It's not very long. Anybody can pass it because you can just keep going back and re-answering the questions. So
Yeah, here we have 35 questions, and you have to get 65% right.
the trust test, like I said, you can take that online your first time you take it, and you can't fail it. So I mean, it's
Yes.
anybody can pass it. 100%.
Here's $10, and then you got to do it. If you don't pass it the first time, you got 24 hours. You can redo it out there.
Now when you get your 107 initially over here, you have to go to an FAA testing center. But after you have it, you can just renew it online by taking the tests online. But they have it set up the same way as a trust test. You can't fail it. You can just keep
But
going
they don't
back
have
and
107.
re-answering this shit.
Don't have a 107 in Canada.
No, I was telling him what we had.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
there's only
see,
there's only America that does a Part 107.
Yeah, no, we got the basic and the advanced.
Yeah.
now if of every country I know of, that I've seen the rules or heard about the rules, seems like Australia's got the most fucking layers of bullshit.
Man,
Oh,
but you know what I don't understand is some of the questions there doesn't have some of them don't even have nothing to do with drones.
No, because of what they've tried to do
It's a commercial pilot's license.
is they've lumped in drones with all aircraft, and half the shit that you learn doesn't really pertain to drones, but it's just they're going by what they know
Hmm.
and they're applying it to drones.
I'm not gonna go fly a fucking helicopter or an airplane.
Like this, I've heard some of the questions. Like I've heard like when Trevor has made the reasoning behind it, but like some of the questions are, you know, how do you approach a runway and shit like that, and it's like, why do you need to know that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're flying near an airport, you should just be that vigilant.
They
Anyway.
want you to know that because they want you to know if you're near an airport what flight patterns are.
Well, I understand that, but you should be super vigilant anyway if you're around.
But how many people are going to fly by an airport? That's the other question. I have an idea. Something just came to me. I'm gonna do this.
Uh-oh.
Did they ever catch those jackasses in LA that were flying the jetpacks around?
No, couldn't
I
tell you.
remember
don't
there.
even
I
know about
remember. Yeah, it was like a year or 2 years ago. There was a big old news story for like a couple months where it was all in the news, and they kept finding the pilots kept seeing people flying jetpacks around the airport.
It was
And they
dreaded.
they couldn't figure out where the hell they were coming from. And I never heard nothing else about it after that.
Good morning, recovery drone.
Dre.
Dre.
I think it was LAX, if I remember correctly, too.
Did they ever find out about the
Jersey
aliens?
drones.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Trump got in office, he looked into it, and it turned out it was just a company or some kind of company or defense contract or something. They didn't really specify, but they were testing drones, and the FAA approved it. But they just didn't come out and tell anybody. They fucking let it just sit there as a mystery and people freaking out. Plus, there was people that were just flying regular, recreational drones around, which were adding to the whole conspiracy. As you know, there was a handful of people with drones who are like, I'm gonna pop this bitch up, scare the shit out of my neighborhood. You know, there was a handful of them doing that shit. As much as you don't want people to be doing shit like that and freaking people out, you know that there was at least a handful of them in Jersey that were doing that. But they said all the flights they tracked of drones that were over Jersey, they said were all legal flights. So I don't know.
Joe, are you gonna let us in on your secret?
Maybe.
Okay.
I need to go. I'll tell you real quick. I'm going through all of these little figures everybody's making. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to download them, and then I'm going to put them on the drone community and make a composite of all the little figures.
Oh, I've been seeing tons of YouTubers posting them to their community pages.
I know
Have nothing to do with
I gotta
drones.
find all the drone pilots.
I've seen a couple gaming channels, a couple of just random like independent news channels.
Yeah, loads of them on Facebook.
One guy posted one of a Karen at a Tesla rally.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's some little short chick that was like 300 pounds of blue hair, and it had a sign that came with it as a little accessory that said, "I hate Tesla."
Alex did a couple, I think, on his.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube posting them.
Guy called Quackers over here, Mark, he's done it as well.
That's why I
Like-
said, if I was that company that owned that AI side, I would try to set up some kind of manufacturing to actually make them for people.
And the problem is not everybody's putting a full picture on it. Is some of them getting cut off? If you put the whole piece on there, I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna make a composite with. If we had 40 of them, I'll put all 40 of them on there. You know, it'll be like the faces of the drone community.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like a little collage.
Yeah,
like
picture collage.
like Scott's poster of the South Florida drone meetup.
yeah, it'll be like that. But I got to get the people like Sergio doesn't have one. I think it's Sergio's. This is Sergio. I can't remember who it's flies on. One of them. They look the same. I think it was Sergio.
Yeah, Sergio's
Oh,
got
this is Michael.
Sergio's got Sergio in his channel name, and Mike
Yeah.
hasn't.
This is Michael. Yeah, Angie Anderson. She had just the bottom feet are cut off, so I sent to her. I said, "Send me a copy of the full thing, so I could do the what you call it."
Are you
Composite.
making
Was
action
it
figures
was
for- Are you making
was it-
action figures for Mikey and Angie?
No,
was it
I must call you Paul Jr. You're not listening.
no, he's gonna take all the pictures you guys made of the actual AI versions of it and put it together like a picture collage.
Oh, gotcha.
Was it a picture on Facebook, Joe?
Yeah, but when you click on it, it's still cut off.
Oh, okay, that's what I was gonna ask if you clicked on it, because sometimes it cuts
So
pictures
what
off
they've
when you click
probably
on 'em.
done is when they've made it, they probably never downloaded the whole picture. Probably screenshot it.
Yeah, she probably shot it and cropped it on her phone or something.
Yeah, because if she gets, but she cut it off. You know, if you download it, you get the whole piece. It's gonna take a while for them to get it to me. I know.
Well, just get on Messenger and start messaging everybody.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Tell them to send it to you through Messenger. You download all of them.
What
Don't
is,
send
what
out
is,
too many messages, because then Facebook will flag you as spamming.
what's a PPL? What is that? Jim was talking about if you fly, or we're thinking about getting PPL.
Personal pilot's license? Maybe?
Private pilot.
Yeah.
Or private pilot's license?
The Buy for Ames book.
It works out expensive because you've got to keep up by flying so many hours a year, or you lose it.
Yeah, I bet you I'm going on Johnny's site. Johnny gets a lot of them putting on it. So I'll go on there and get them off of that. I'm gonna put up a note. I'm gonna say, if you made one of these, send it to me so I can put together a composite of everybody and we'll have the drone community like this. See, Johnny's is even cut off.
I know Alex put his on his Facebook page.
Hmm.
Is that your drone behind you, TJ?
Where?
What is that behind you?
Down low.
You talking about the
No,
Hungay?
down,
No,
down,
the pile of
the
stuff
white
behind
thing.
Right here.
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
Well, this is just a bucket of like a 3D printed bucket from Johnny Drumfire, and then I got
that's
some
all the
some
stuff
stuff.
he stole from the
And then I got, and then I got, and then Johnny gave me like all these. I got a bunch of Captain Joe's stickers, and then I got his baseball cards, and then let's see what else.
So basically, what he's telling you is
Phone holder.
That's his drone show stash.
Yeah. Except for
That's what I was wondering what that was. Oh, blood pressure.
yeah, blood pressure machine. Yeah.
He stole one of the old guys' blood pressure machines.
Yeah,
They set it down on the table. He thought it was a freebie.
he picked it up. Yep.
Some fucking nurse was running around looking for it.
That's funny.
Well, he's got to have it handy because you know he.
Poor guy's like, I knew I put it here somewhere. Uh-oh. Look, Justin, you got him going again.
TJ said, I even got a pill sorter with some random pills in it. They were giving out free pills.
Here comes Dre. TJ's excited, Dre, because you're coming in.
That's
Oh,
pretty
my
good.
Right.
That's funny.
Morning.
That's
Morning.
pretty good.
Morning, everyone in the chat. Sunstar, Frank, Jim.
That's funny.
That's
East
funny,
Coast.
Dre.
That's pretty
Joe,
good.
Ed, Mark.
What's up, Drake?
Looks like it's a nice sunny day in Georgia again.
You see that, Dre? He's stealing fucking medical equipment from the drone meetup.
You know TJ's favorite saying. Can I have that?
That's
Oh my
funny.
god.
That's pretty good.
So Dre, how's biz going?
Oh, it's actually, I'm so shocked that it's starting to slow down. I got a flight to do today, but then I'm actually done for the month unless something last minute shows up. So I've shrunk down from about 10 flights a month down to about 5. I mean, that's not including what I do for the city, but that's just
Right.
my part and stuff. Work I do for the city, that just comes by a as needed basis. But to go back to what you guys are talking about, the testing and why you have airport stuff, I fly near or on an airport on a regular basis. So like Joe is saying, you need to understand the flight patterns and which way they work. Now, all the markings on the runway and stuff, yeah, that's a little far-fetched for a drone pilot to really know, because we're not landing or taxiing on a runway, but to understand how flights come in and how they take off, that can be important. So you're not going to be interfering. But like I say, I know on my COAs, when I fly on a facility or near a flight path, the takeoff or landing of a runway, I have to call the tower. That's per the FAA to let them know. And let them know when I start my flight and when I end my flight. So that's included in my coverage or authorization. So yeah, the test, the 107 test, it's like I say, like the METAR part, understanding weather. It's good. It's good information to know, but like anything else, most of us go out, stick our finger in the air, and say, "Okay, looks good to me." You know, because like I said, when you use all these programs before you fly, a loft and everything else, they don't actually get the accurate weather for wherever your location that you're actually flying. It's usually some central point, usually attached upon some school somewhere in the area that you live, that they're getting the local general weather. So they
Mhm.
may not, I mean, where I live at, but we have the Cahoon Pass, it's a very windy area, comes on the Cahoon Pass. But downtown where I work at right now, the wind ain't blowing at all, but it may be gusting up to 30 miles per hour up near the foothills. So a lot of times you have to really depend upon your own judgment when you go out and fly.
Yeah, I
But
love
it's
them
nice to
Santa Ana
understand
winds.
what those things are and know what NOTAMs are and everything else. It's just a lot of general information.
Yeah.
But I would say majority of the questions on the Part 107 test has to do with airspace, knowing your airspace, knowing all that kind of good stuff. So I just did my third or fourth recurrent a couple of weeks back. And like Justin is saying, you can't fail it. They just make you go back and re-answer it,
Yep.
which is nice. I mean, you pay that. And when I took it was $150. I think it's up to 170 now, just to sit down and take the 107. So it's nice that the recurrent doesn't cost you anything and you can do it online. Because to tell you the truth, depending upon where you live, it could be a pain in the butt to set up a test date. And some folks got to drive a couple of hours to actually take the test. For me, it was about 40-minute drive to Pomona Airport at a school there that does testing for both manned aircraft and for UAS, and knocked it out and went home as a happy camper. I was worried about losing my $150.
I think some people in the Midwest have to go a state or two over sometimes, don't they?
I don't know. I mean, there's not. I mean, depends on where your area. I mean, where I'm at, there's a lot of times it's individual private schools who've been authorized by the FAA to do testing. That's how it is. So I mean, in my area, we have a bunch of smaller airports, larger airports. Schools are all over the place and stuff. But like I said, you could live somewhere in Arizona, Kansas, Utah, you name it. You may be several hours away from a facility.
Oh, it says there's over 300 FAA designated testing centers.
Yeah, 300 ain't nothing.
Yeah.
300 ain't nothing. You might have, I say, you may have 5 to 10 clustered in Southern California.
Yeah, in a big populated state, yeah.
Right, big populated area. Then other places that are not as populated, not as much, aerial traffic. A lot of these places are in conjunction, like I say, in conjunction with manned aircraft testing facilities. I have not seen one that just does testing for UAS only. There's usually one that does man aerial testing and UAS testing. And like I said, the test itself is all computer generated, multiple choice. They give you scratch paper. They give you a basic calculator if you want one, and that pencil. That's all you can take in there.
Okay, so Google was saying 300, but then Drone Pilot Ground School, they actually have a map that shows you where they're all at, and they're showing over 800.
Yeah.
So there might be a lot of subcontracting, like you said, with schools and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not a full-time thing. It's just they do it once in a while.
Yeah.
So I doubt the FAA has that many facilities they're paying for. That's a lot.
Yeah. Like I say, if you're a recreational pilot, there should be no reason for you to fly anywhere close to an airport, because all you're doing is asking for unwarranted attention to yourself. Because you're going to have to get permission, all this kind of stuff. And if you don't, then right now they can, with remote ID, they can backtrack you. So if something goes sideways, they're going to be knocking on your door.
Yep.
So like I say, I say when I have coverage of authorization for San Bernardino International Airport, March Air Base in Moreno Valley, and the city of Riverside, California, out of their small airport. And I got those years ago before a lot of these changes that we have now in place. I've had the one for my city for about 5 years. I think the one I got for March Air Base is I've had that for at least 4 years. So they sent me an email saying, hey, your yearly thing is about to expire. You want to, extend it? I said, oh yeah, let me go ahead and get that extension on it.
Yeah, especially if it doesn't, because I'll keep it up to date, right?
Yeah, I can say it's easier to keep it up, and that way less hassle. Now with this, no more unlocks that you have to do geofencing. It's even more critical to keep it up. You have one because now they're a little more slower than authorizing these things now with all the events that are happening. The FAA has been dragging its feet. It's a combination of changing over of new administration staff, all this kind of stuff, and it's just like I say, it's paperwork now. It just goes at a snail's pace.
Well, my whole thing with DJI is why would you remove that safety feature if you were being so hated on by the U.S. government?
Well, sometimes I feel sometimes you can always have that attitude. You know what? We try to play nice, everything else.
Yeah.
So screw you. You can have all the little incidents and everything else that you want now. Like I tell these guys that do these other shows, and they always want to paint everything as rose colored glasses, with these new drones coming out and everything else. And I keep trying to tell these guys, I said, won't y'all just be realistic about it? You think these tariffs are going to be an issue? Yeah, they're going to be an issue for us costs out of your pocket, but we still haven't solved the customs issue yet.
Yeah, got a point.
And the whole thing, there used to be a loophole. So if like you directly ordered a drone from DJI as a customer and they shipped it to you, you didn't have to pay the tariffs, but they've now closed that.
Right. That's just my point. Because I remember when what's his name down in Florida bought his 3S and he had to pay extra tariff money on it.
Yeah, they've done closed that loophole.
Yeah, they wouldn't deliver. This is back in November, I think it was. They want another $100-something for them to deliver it.
Hey, Dre, I think I'm going fishing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hell
One
yeah.
thing good. If you go fishing with her and you don't catch anything, at least you had a good time.
Damn.
I didn't know what kind of bait
That's
I
on
need.
Fish Masters. You don't have to catch fish. You just go have a good time.
So if you had
you gotta have something to catch her though.
If you had to estimate, Dre, how much you think that new Mavic 4 is going to cost?
According to what the tariffs are, both sides are charging over 100%, so double the cost.
No, we're up to 145 now.
That's what I'm saying. Just double the cost.
But what do you think?
I think the Mavic 4 combo was like 4,500. Just double that cost.
And then another 50% on top of that, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's going to cost you about $9,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll cost somebody else about $9,000.
Going to cost you about 11.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. So
like
I said, that's just the cost of it.
Nearly 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's just the cost of it. And then you got to wonder if it's going to show up.
Yeah. Right. Because if it's 4,500, then you add, that would be 9,000 plus another 1,000 for the 45% roughly. With taxes and everything. Yeah, Mark's right, about 11 grand.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
And I say 11 grand, and then you're gonna get an email saying that your item's been returned to the origin of shipping.
Yeah.
Just like I got on my Power 2000. I was pissed. I said, dude, I paid for this thing back in November, and I chewed DJI. I said, if you guys would have shipped it when you're shipping all those reviewers, those free ones, I'd have had mine already. And y'all fooled around and got caught up with this custom thing. and you guys had to go through about 3 different hoops to get it to me. I ordered that thing back in November, Justin. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be, I supposed to got in January. I didn't get it until early March.
Damn.
Yeah, cat's on the other chair, I think.
You know, and I think I was just very lucky, like a few folks. You know, just like Mudball. It took him a month and a half to get his 3S.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
You know, I was like, and I can say I got that notice of my original order had been returned to China. And then DJI had to find another way to get it into the country for it to get delivered to me. I don't know if it came through Mexico or whatever else, but they had to do some kind of alternative method to get it to me because I've already paid for it.
Yeah, I kind of see I'm gonna if those tariffs stay in place when that thing gets released, I see their sales dropping because, like, I mean, honestly, why would you want to pay that much for a drone that you know at the end of the day is not worth that much? Not even close. That's
well, like I
crazy.
said, basically, this is another method of how you try to convince people to buy domestic. If you're not going to get a good price on a top line product, you know, why should I go through the extra hassle of paying this kind of money, worried about is it going to show up in shipping, and I might as well go buy something from Skydio or Brinks or whoever else.
The only ones I see getting those drones are the big channels, but they'd end up getting them as a review. But I just don't see anybody like Joe or anybody that was willing to get one at the time. I just don't see any of them wanting to buy one.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's going to be cost prohibitive.
Yeah,
that's what's going to cost prohibitive. That, like you say, the consumer or recreational pilot market is going to just vanish. Just going to vanish.
Even those tariffs that he's putting on in the consumer market, they're just going to bring Chinese prices up to the same price as the existing stuff that's made in the US.
But I say, Mark, the ones in the US are not consumer drones. Those are enterprise level drones.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about just drones. I'm talking about anything made in China.
Oh yeah. That's what I said. That could be the strategy on that people got. But see, the thing is here, it's one thing to do that to make people think about buying something domestic, but when you don't have a product domestically, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole crutch of the problem. Is that okay? That's why I said the method of how we're doing this is not smart. I understand the long-term goal. I support the long-term goal, but the method that we're using is not going to work.
Risk it.
Oh, I think the rest of the world will suddenly say, "Nope, that's enough. Forget it."
Yeah, I tell a lot of folks. I say, and I hate to say, I hate big Trump supporters are like, yeah, we're gonna get. I said, dude, you don't understand. Everybody doesn't just talk to the U.S. They talk amongst themselves, and they make deals amongst themselves.
Yep.
And they will be okay amongst themselves. And just like I say, when if the tariffs are cheaper through Canada and through Mexico or some other country, guess what China's going to do? They're going to flood those other countries with their supplies, and they're going to still get them shipped here to America through another country. So like I say, there's always loopholes and other ways to get around the system. And
I really do think he's going to push it too far.
I think we've already crossed that path. I said we're going on to our fourth week of the market being down. That has people like me.
I thought it went up the other day.
Well, like I say, it hasn't reached what it was prior to.
Yeah.
We're still at 39,000. We were up to 42,000. And we're still just getting back to 39,000.
Yeah, but there are 75 countries that are coming to the table that want to.
Well, like I say,
strike a deal.
75 countries coming to the table without no details.
Hey.
No, because they said there were going to be a one each deal was going to be a tailored deal individually.
That's
not
just my
one
point.
fits
No,
all.
no details that we're being told. All we get is all the bluster about, oh, everybody's calling to kiss my butt in his words. And I say,
Yeah.
you keep offending people, nations are gonna, you know what, the people of other nations, like if somebody said crap like that about us, how would we want to let that other nation be dealt with?
Yeah, he actually said, kiss my ass. To kiss
Kiss
my ass.
my ass, whatever it is. Yeah, everybody's calling to kiss my
He
ass.
actually
I
said that. I
dude,
think that
people-
was the wrong thing to say.
yeah, like I say, people don't play that, man. A lot of other countries, when you offend the country's honor, they don't play that kind of stuff, man. You know, just like I said, even though Canada's not in the top news anymore, they still holding tight. Mexico's still holding tight. They ain't back down. You know, you talking about countries where we have small trade deals with in the first place: Vietnam, Malaysia, India. We don't get a lot of products from them. We don't do a lot of business with them compared to other countries that are playing hard.
Has he put tariffs on Japan as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Japan's one of the countries that them and Vietnam are already wanting to come over here to make a deal with them.
Yeah, they supposed to have been here early in the week, and you ain't heard a peep about it.
2 Asian countries already agreed to go 0% on theirs. Israel wiped out $200 billion deficit we had with them. They said they were just going to wipe it out.
Israel, that's the funny part. They didn't have the press conference with Netanyahu when he was here early in the week, for the simple reason they didn't want to have to ask questions of him how he felt about still being charged a tariff from the U.S., but they've granted U.S. 0 tariffs.
Well, I mean, they kind of owe us anyway. I mean, how long have we been funding
like I say, that was a policy that we did decades ago as part of our even though we're not a country based on a certain religion, we have allegiance to Israel based on a religious connection. And that's why we protect Israel, is because of a religious connection. Not because Israel provides strategic anything for us. We were one of the ones who brokered the deal post World War II to create the Israeli state. So we have that commitment as being the main country who created the Israeli state. Like I told my buddy, we've been better off giving them Florida.
Why?
Joe got the joke.
Been better giving them California, I'm telling you.
Hey, you got to give them Florida. Where all the Jewish people go anyway? They go to Florida.
I mean, New York too.
Well, they start off in New York, now retire in Florida.
Oh yeah, if you go down, if you go down where TJ's at in West Palm Beach, yeah, there's a shit ton of Jewish people down there.
Yeah, that's what I said. We've been it would have been better off for the Jewish population after World War II. We would have said, you know what, we'll give you guys Florida. You ain't got to worry about being attacked by anybody. You know.
Matter of fact, when I was down in West Palm Beach and I was down there helping them test the gas lines and doing the meters, right? I go to this guy's house. He pulls up in like a $300,000 Bentley. I'm talking about expensive ass car, and this big ass like 8-bedroom house, you know, like mini mansion. And he asked me, he goes, "Do I have to call a plumber?" He goes, "Can I just put some tape or something over it?" I said, "No, you cheat." All I'm thinking in my head is, "You cheat bitch." Like it costs you.
That's why the Jews are rich. They don't like spending money.
I was like, fucking $200-300 fix, and this dude's asking me if he can put duct tape over it. And I was like, I was so dumbfounded when he said that to me. I was like, is he being serious? And he was being 100% serious. He was like, "Can I just put some tape over it?"
Yeah.
But it was like pouring out.
That definitely won't fix the problem.
Because they lived out on that little inlet that was out in the ocean. That we went out on, and just his whole entire coupling going into the gas meter was, I mean, I could stick a whole pin through it. I had to shut his meter off because it was so bad. and I took a pin and I pushed it right through the pipe.
Oh wow.
It was that
He-
rusted gone.
I'm surprised he wasn't mad about his bill. Bill should have been sky high.
Dude, this is what I told him. I said, "Have you not noticed your gas bill going up now?"
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get it.
But like I said, I mean, these are some of the things I tell people about. We talking about yesterday about history. This is why we got to make sure we learn from our history and know our history, and know that this is why we have such alliances across the world, because we have helped establish a lot of places on this planet post World War II. You know, just like you look at the continent of Africa, pre World War II, Africa was basically colonized by half the European Union. Everything from Germany had colonies, the French had colonies.
Yep.
You know, everybody had a handprint all over Africa. Post
Yes.
World War II, the
South
agreement
Africa
was everybody had to get out after a certain amount of time. And the sad part is, instead of a lot of these countries teaching the native people how to operate stuff and how to maintain the infrastructure, everything else, they just said one day, "Oh, you know what? Our time's up. We got to go. We're out." And that's why you got chaos across the African continent with tribal warfare and everything else still to this day, because the colonies of all these other countries just up and left.
That big. You're like a little but it is a big one.
I think Justin just.
Do you know thingy?
Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Dre.
Yeah, it's not
Good
far.
morning.
You're down to 72 hours, Lance. You gonna be okay?
Well, the micro SD
Yeah,
card
yeah,
is gonna-
yeah. I'm already not getting any sleep, but it'll be fun.
and
Right.
if
I
you're
thought we had to go back to work.
That's be a lot better. That.
Well,
If it-
I'm doing my movie, so
I've got
yeah,
one.
I'm going to be really. So our
think-
72-hour film festival started last night at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
And so-
Yeah, I heard you mention something
What-
about that.
When does it come out, Lance?
It comes out the last Friday of this month,
Oh, okay.
and
Well, I was saying that your spring break was
Can-
about to end in about 72 hours.
yes, so they
Is-
both
is-
they both do. Yeah,
Is it going to be posted on YouTube, or where can we find it?
it'll be posted on YouTube. I'll share it with you when I can. We can't post it until it shows, which is that Friday the 24th. I put the 4 items that we have to include in the movie in the chat.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
we have
gotcha.
we have to include a mistaken identity. We have to include a towel. We have to include dancing, and we have to say it's showtime, and it can't be it's showtime to begin the movie. It's got to be somewhere within the movie. And
Oh,
then
I
like
got
in
it for you right now.
middle-
I got
in the
an
middle
easy
somewhere.
one. You get the guy coming out the shower. The woman walks up there and she goes, "Oh, I thought that you were my husband." And then he drops the towel and says, "Showtime."
there you go.
I thought of that one quick, didn't I?
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so it doesn't have to be
Showtime.
253 seconds. It can be 10 seconds.
Showtime. That's funny.
What's the
Showtime.
time limit on the clip?
253 seconds. So 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And it's 253 because that's the area code of Tacoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
I could have put that little clip I did at the Public Safety Academy School of the foot pursuit that I put together. The guy, calling the car, he's stopping. It's all mock, but I could have squeezed in all those elements right away.
There you go. There you go. We and then there's a 5th element this year that we don't have to do,
Mhm.
but we are going to. And the guy that does this, the executive director of the Grand, is retiring, and this is his favorite thing that he does all year is this film festival. And
Yeah.
he said, "Hey, to go out with a bang, if you guys want to film me, I'll be in town Friday and Saturday anytime." And he in fact he put a Google Docs together and said, "Hey, book a time, film me, I'll do whatever. I won't he said something about he won't dance with a towel or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was funny. And so
Yeah.
we're gonna do an Alfred
Dance with a
Hitchcock
towel.
theme with him because he's Alfred Hitchcock was in every single one of his movies.
Right. He always had
But he
a
was an
cameo.
extra. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was a
could be an
cameo,
extra, or
extra.
a cameo, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't have very many lines, but anyway, that's going to be the theme that we use because he's going to be in almost all 30 movies because people are going to take advantage of that. And so
Mm.
we're gonna have Alfred Hitchcock poster somewhere in the background. We're going to use him as a barista.
How
And
old is he now?
Philip Cowan, Philip Cowan, you don't know Philip.
No,
He's about
Alfred
55.
Hitchcock.
I don't
Oh,
think
he's
Alfred's
dead.
alive.
Yeah, he's not alive anymore.
He gone.
But so we're gonna put him as a barista, and we always do an Easter egg of 2:53. So we'll either show a clock or we'll show a sign or we'll have it written down. We're gonna have him say as he hands the coffee to one of our actors, we're gonna have him say, and that's $2.53, please.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be our Easter egg. And you don't
Yeah.
have to put an Easter egg in, but we do. And we're
Right.
kind of known for that in the community and we're called Too Many Cooks is the name of of my group, because
Too
there's
many. Was it too many crooks?
cooks
Cooks.
Oh,
because
cooks.
because
Too many
we're always piping in. Everyone's trying to change the script,
Oh.
as we go, which is good. That's what we want to do. But it's like, okay, wait a minute.
When did you start working on, or like when were you when did you start working on this, or when were you like thinking about doing this or whatever?
So my first year was 2011, and I've done it every year but 2. And the 2 years that I didn't do it were the pandemic years where they didn't have it. So they didn't have it in 20 and 21. But I've done it every year, and we've been fortunate enough to win 3 times in the last 6 years, which is good. Which is, I mean, it's a stiff competition. So I'm thankful that we've won 3 out of the last 6 years, and you win on one of the elements. So you've got 4 chances each year. Actually, you've got 6 chances because there's an audience and there's 2 other awards that are impossible to win unless you bring 100 people to the showing, because it shows in a theater Friday 2 weeks after, and there's 1,000 people that watch all 30 movies. So it's about a 3-hour film festival.
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
And then the audience votes on the best ones. Well, if you cram the stands, which one group always does, and they always win, but theirs is always good as well. I don't begrudge them for winning because theirs is in the top 5 every year.
Oh.
So we've already got a pretty good idea.
I'm gonna jump off here and go get a nap in before work. I wanted to go try and fly some too before work too, but we'll see how that works out.
How can I include a drone shot in some of this? I wonder.
You guys have a great day, and we'll see y'all later on.
You just have the Neo following you through it.
Lance, it could be piece of B-roll, dude.
Yep.
It ain't gotta be a main thing. It just be a piece of B-roll of a overall shot of the city skyline or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As I say, drone shot, I think sometimes as drone pilots, we get too focused on using a drone as the main camera. And like I said, I was at that school the other day, and that foot pursuit scene I did, that was 6 separate takes that I edited together. And that was probably the biggest part of the job I did. The part I used the drone for, that was just B-roll of traffic stops, things that happen, whatever. Just a different perspective. That's all it was, just B-roll with different perspective. But that foot pursuit part that I did, like I say, it was 6 different takes of activity that I strung together to make one scene. And that's why I was thinking when you talking about that 253 or whatever, I said I could redo that whole thing and incorporate all 4 or 5 elements that you just talked about. And that probably, I could stretch that out, slow motion, all that kind of stuff to make that thing, 4 minutes long. have a little more dialogue where they say, I got a guy right now, having dispatch caught the plate, traffic stop. Dispatch comes back, says 10851, stolen vehicle, yada, yada, yada. And the guy say, tell his partner, it's showtime. This is easy as that. Take a quick
Yeah.
picture of the guy driving the car, picks up a towel off the passenger seat, wipes his face, throws it back down. Bam. There's the towel.
There's down.
Yeah.
I like mine better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yours is very suggestive.
Showtime.
Yeah. Well, I could just imagine that. Boom, 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 nailing that.
Y'all
Well, I
gonna
was
get the
telling the
wrong
kids,
impression of me. That just came out,
yeah, I was telling the kids when I was doing that one foot pursuit scene, I said, this is how they do on TV. Don't think everything is all one long take and there's camera people standing all around. I said, no, they'll get a picture of you
Clips.
from inside the car, boom, cut, we're done. Cameraman, a different guy comes up outside the car, takes it, you might even repeat the line, and boom, there it is. And and you go from there. Like I said, that was 6 different takes, 6 different angles that I took of that foot pursuit scene, and then edited it all together.
So my goal on this one, this was 3 years ago, I believe. I wanted to do an all drone production,
Mhm.
and I wanted to do it in one take, but I
Mhm.
wasn't a good enough pilot to do it in one take. And you'll see why. I mean, it's pretty difficult. But I wish the Avata would have been out at the time, and it wasn't. And I wish the Neo would have been out, and it wasn't. But let me know
Yeah.
if you guys can hear this.
Did you click the boxes?
I did.
Hey, you remember that, Paul, when you know how to press the button.
So on this, one of the elements was
Playing us.
20, one of the elements was 25. So pay attention to this. And
Mhm.
we won with 25. This is a drone. The whole thing so far is a drone.
Mhm.
So look at this.
Yeah.
And we, like I said, we won with a 25.
There you go.
And again, you look how crappy a drone pilot I was. But
Was. What? What?
this is like 10 takes as well.
Mhm.
Hey, Lance, you give yourself too much credit. Hey, Dre, I know you. I'm sure you didn't see that one I put out with the Neo yesterday or day
No, I
before.
didn't
Yeah,
see
it
it
was
pop up on
yesterday.
it didn't pop up on my feed.
I took that with the light, and remember we talked about that light maybe being a little better.
Yeah.
All I'm telling you is that 21 grams made it feel like the Avata.
Mm.
It didn't drift. It handled perfect. And then I flew it over the Bogfalaya River and
Mhm.
got every warning in the book about no vision sensors are working, nothing. And that sucker was doing this.
Oh
And I
wow.
was just saying,
Okay,
just
so
get off, just
this guy
get
is
off
a
the river.
paper delivery guy, a Domino's guy. Okay, and he's continuing to ride around the neighborhood. So he's got, and the name of the film is Many Hats. And now he turns the corner here. And again, I would love to have had the Avata here, but it.
So is he
So
gonna
now
get
he's
out?
an
Put
Uber
another,
dude.
now I was gonna say he's gonna get out, put another sign on the car.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ooh, it Mike's scratchy again.
Hmm.
I found 20 of those action figures from the drone community already. That they've made up.
That's your mic, Joe?
That's your mic, Lance.
Well, it's Lance's mic. Okay.
Yeah, that's Lance's mic. It happens every once in a while. I didn't need that ear in it. What's my bad ear? Now, you know, the one person I thought would have made one of those already is Bill Thomas. Because he's got more time on his hand than I do.
Hmm.
He didn't make one.
I'll share with you this sequence I did. This was all done with the Pocket 2, Osmo Pocket 2. Let me set it up here. Share. There we go. That'll do it right there. Hold on a second. Screen 2.
What?
Put it on large. Here we go.
Let me see your hands.
Yeah, that was all done with the Pocket 2. Six different cut scenes.
I knew you had that. Let me see your hands. I'm wearing that.
Well, his traffic stop. You know, he's telling the
Yeah.
driver to get out of the vehicle. The driver gets out and runs for it.
And both.
Yep.
That's when you send the dog.
Release
Right.
the dog.
I'm gonna have to leave now, lads, to go to this dentist. So I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Okay, Mark.
You might mumble to us later. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Remember, I'm back. I'm back.
Hopefully, it'll have worn off by then.
Make sure he takes the right one, eh?
Ha.
Right. See you later.
Sit on.
Where did Paul sneak off to?
Probably eating a Boston Cream or he took Ducalax. One of the
Or
two.
maybe catch the boat that's coming.
He might have left. I'm not the host, so it don't matter. Next time he makes me host, I'm gonna kill the show. I'm going through my friends list and finding all the people in the drone community and going to their page to see if they made one of these things.
Yeah,
I keep finding people. I found 22 already.
All right. Did you find me?
You didn't make one.
I think Lance made a couple for somebody. And you make one
Yeah,
for
he
TJ.
made a TJ when I don't know what else he made it for.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh,
you're still scratchy, Lance.
There you go. Bad Mike again.
I thought he corrected that a couple of weeks back.
I thought he did too. I think the batteries, when they start dying, they do that.
Yeah, if you got a battery operated one.
He listened to Justin.
Mm.
I broke down Dre and bought a gun safe. Because
you already had
the
a gun
granddaughter's
safe.
getting to the age where I don't want them just in a drawer somewhere.
I thought you had one already.
No, because I'm the only one here. I have
Yeah,
them
but still,
strategically
you know.
located. Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. Now I got a main safe, and if I'm
Mhm.
leaving for a while, I'll put them in there.
Oh, okay, okay.
But what I did is I bought a smaller one that I could slide in right above that safe, mounted to the other safe under my
Mhm.
desk. And then
Yeah.
when I went to put it in there, I was about an inch short,
Mm.
so it don't fit. So I sat here and I went, well, am I going to bring it back, get a smaller one, or what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And on the end of my desk, I have a where I keep like all the paperwork that comes in. Just I
Mhm.
hate looking at it, right? I said, you know what? It might fit right there on top of the desk.
Mm.
And I looked at it and I put it up there and it fit, right? So that sucker is bolted to my desk, so you can't move it. Got
Right.
4 bolts in it going the other way into the thing. You got to take it loose from inside, right?
Mhm.
It holds 3 of my guns sitting right there. It's right on top of here. And then I put one of the trays for paperwork on top and neatened it up.
Yeah.
So that works. And I don't care if somebody knows it's a safe or not. They still got to get into it.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, ain't got to be nothing. 007.
No.
Fake. We call it a fireplace thing. You hit a little side
Yeah.
button, drops down, and
It's right there.
it's
And
right there.
I've been in my credit cards, I always keeping the safe underneath. So now I
Mhm.
took the credit card things and stuck them right there, so but I don't have to reach down anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I programmed them the same codes.
Hmm.
So, but I like it a lot better. It's out of the way and it actually neatened up the desk.
Yeah. I think about. I know the next couple of years I'll buy me another weapon, and then like I say, get a safe in the house. Because right now it's always in my vehicle,
Yeah.
in a locked case in my vehicle.
Well, if the Marine Corps ever comes through with this claim and I do
Hmm.
buy a house, I'm gonna buy a real one, real safe, real big one.
Floor standing safe.
Yeah, and that would be stuck, bolted to the walls,
Hmm.
and then everything will be in there that went like, because I got an AR sitting in the back. My son, see, that's the fight we're gonna have. We got to find out what he's gonna do with it, if he's taking it back with him or not right now,
Hmm.
because he's only going back for about 2 months, then he's going away for 9 months, and they're gonna leave it in the house.
Mm.
I'd rather him leave it here and get it when he comes back.
Yeah.
It's safer here. So
Hmm.
we'll have a long talk about it. I
Yeah.
know he's gonna want to shoot it, and while he's here, we're gonna shoot it.
Hmm.
So you might just because he's got one with him. I don't mind him leaving in the house because he's got a little small safe. But I don't think the AR leaving it in the house for 6 to 9 months with nobody he knows going, only one person going in and out. Somebody breaks into it, it's gone.
Right. Right.
It's he's got to think about that. Now he
Yeah.
may have. I might tell him check. See, I'll get him before he leaves. I'm gonna say check with the base and the armory.
That's what I was gonna say. Can he have the armory stored for him?
Yeah. Maybe you could just tell them I'm gonna bring it in and check it in at the armory and leave it there and get it when you come
Mhm.
back.
Yeah. I know they
I'm gonna
used
say
to do
don't
that
leave it
kind
in
of
your
stuff.
house.
Yeah, they used to do that kind of stuff. I don't know about
Yeah,
today.
they do that because I worked one of my first supply jobs was the armory.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
I
I mean,
worked
like
in
I
the
say,
supply.
back in our day, I know they used to do that. I don't know what they do today.
Yeah, because that was the armory that was the supply unit was here, the armory was right there. The
Hmm.
same, like a look at it, right?
Yeah.
And that was the one that somebody kept trying to break into, and I said, "Let me walk
Hmm.
guard duty." And that was probably the worst thing I ever did because when I walked that guard duty that night, he took a shot at me and I shot him. And I told you 2 days later I was in Okinawa.
Mm.
I had a tag on my service record book that I could not go back to the East Coast for 10 years.
Wow.
So they could not give me an East Coast duty station.
Mm.
As soon as it hit 10 years, my duty station came up Paris Island.
Mm.
I thought I would never see Paris Island. But I wound up, that was my last duty station, Paris Island.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
I don't know. He probably flying that ship. I really want him I want him to fly the ship after he changed all the settings with the what you call it?
the flip.
Flip.
Hmm.
It doesn't look as windy as it usually does. And the flip will handle, I think it's 27 mile an hour winds. his big complaint was that, you could see it. He had it in normal mode, and he had it maxed out at like maybe 10 miles an hour.
Hmm.
That was where the problem was.
Yeah, well, actually, the wind's too strong. They can only do what it can do.
Yeah. That's what, see, when I'm talking him through it, and I'm going through the Neo, and I hadn't set mine either. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I had mine set a little bit lower than it was supposed to be. So I
Mhm.
maxed them all out, and like I said, I flew it yesterday. And I mean, as soon as I took off and it started going between the trees, and I noticed it wasn't drifting, I said, oh, look at this.
Hmm.
It actually, right off the bat, I knew something was different.
Yeah,
You could see the difference.
and we're
But
only
boy, I
talking,
tell you,
only
when it
talking
hit that
grand.
water, soon as it got over water, I got a red line. Fly carefully, no vision sensors.
Hmm.
It said satellite vision, no satellite vision sensors. So the two sensors on the bottom do everything.
Right now, did that light cover those?
No,
Huh.
no, the light did not cover those. It's
Hmm.
just that's everybody saying that in a dark room the thing goes crazy because it's the sensors on the bottom. They're
Well,
too
I know
small.
if in a dark room, it doesn't have enough ambient light for the sensors to
Right.
work. So I'm thinking you're outside, daylight, got enough ambient light. So why are the sensors acting like they're covered or something? That's what I was
I
wondering.
know. And DJI states in Neo it says do not fly it over water.
Hmm.
So they
Maybe
already
because
know
of
about it.
the reflection of the water on the sensors.
But I tell you, as soon as it got there and that light came on, the thing started doing a little waving.
Yeah.
Like it went ATTI mode, like it didn't know where it wanted to go. And you could see
Right.
it when I was, and first thing I did, I was with the motion controller. It started to
Mhm.
drop. So I
Mhm.
started bringing it back up, and I'm in the middle of the river,
Right.
and I'm bringing it up, and it's letting me bring it up, but it's slowing down on me. I've got
Mm,
the thing pulled all the way back, and it's slowing down.
not
And I'm
good.
saying, why are you slowing down on myself? And I can't go back in because there's trees.
Mm,
So as soon as I pass the trees, I start bringing it back, and you
yeah.
can see it, instead of it just going like this, it's drifting like that. And it took, after it got over land, it took 14 seconds for the sensor to kick back in.
Wow.
Wow.
So the key is don't fly it over water long,
Hmm.
if you got to fly it over water at all.
Now, does the flip have the same sensors on it?
No,
Hmm.
but I put like this, it made me breathe hard.
Uh, yeah, that's pucker factor. Anytime a
Yeah,
drone starts slowly going down and you ain't
cheek
got full
squeezing moment.
control, that's pucker factor right there.
Yeah, your cheek squeezing moment there.
Hmm. That's that pucker
But
factor.
I mean, if you look at the flight, when you look at the video, it doesn't look as bad. But I put the little clip in from the goggles, and you can see that sucker just drifting out like that, making that turn, just drifting away from it.
There's no worse feeling of your drone, you not having full control of it.
Yeah,
Nothing worse. Because you start thinking about everything in the world concerning that drone, how much it costs you, why am I losing another drone, or if that's your first drone, and you just start thinking about
yeah.
all the bad stuff.
The good news is, like I said, I was able to. But what got me is the more I tried to give it, I just had to start all the way.
Yeah,
It was slowing down,
yeah.
and I didn't really pay attention to it. It probably does. It looked like it was slowing down. When I look at the speed, it was maintaining. It went from 13.9 to 13,
Mm-hmm.
but it looked like it was dropping to about half of that.
Mm,
That was the visual I was getting in the goggles.
yeah.
But I mean, but what the biggest thing is, I can't understand how it took 3 seconds over water for it to lose it, but it took 14 seconds over land to get it back. That sucks.
Yeah, I just don't, I don't know. Don't fly it over water. Mm.
Well, so I'm not going to fly it over that tugboat or through that tugboat.
Yeah,
Never get it back.
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm.
Yep. That's where he had to go. He probably went and flew the ship. Just
Yeah,
left.
that's what I'm thinking.
Either that or he fell back on the floor.
Well, I'm sure one of these days, what's the dog's name he got now?
Boom.
Boom, gonna jump up in his seat and look at the camera.
Yeah. Well, when he jumped up yesterday and Paul went back, I was waiting for him to hit the ground with his feet up.
Oh, wow.
I was going to holler, Paul, you got your phone? Paul plays us. I'm telling you. He'll say, how you do that? He knows how to do it.
Mhm.
Guarantee he knows how to do it. Playing us. And then he slipped yesterday. If y'all remember where he said he got Boom from. Relative. He said yesterday the place he adopted him from.
Oh,
Well, I thought he
Well, I
got it
already
from
knew
the
that.
pound. I thought he got it from the shelter or something.
No, he said he got it from a relative that gave it to him. It didn't cost him anything.
yeah.
But I already knew that he got it from a pound. So I already saw the write-up on it.
Hmm. Spending more money he don't have.
And then he was complaining about needing money. Well, yesterday he's showing a ring from, what was it, a Mason ring he's got. 18 karat gold.
Right.
He says, what can I get? Like $50 for this? I said, he had 9 grams in there of metal.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you're looking at $900 worth of gold. Go to a reputable jeweler. Well, I don't know where any jewelers are. I said, that's what Google's for. Well, maybe I'll just sell it for like $50 or something. Then he said he was going to throw it away.
Mm.
Yeah. See, that's how he plays.
Mm.
You keep balking at me, I'm going to play your ass.
So they want their snacks.
No, I put her on a diet.
I heard the other day she said, I don't care you put me on a diet, I still want my snacks.
Here, huh?
Yeah.
But I went on a diet with him.
Yeah.
And I did this last week. I cut him back, and I've cut me back, and I've lost. I went from 264 to 253 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Just by not eating 5 meals a day. Stop.
Yeah.
I could feel the difference.
Yeah.
You got food in your dish. That's what you eat. I don't eat your food. Go. That's all right. I'll find a turd somewhere today.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
I keep finding more names in the drone community, but scrolling through here on my list, I don't even remember.
It's like it caught wildfire, man. It's like everybody, I go to Facebook, everybody's got one of these little action figures. And I said, well, I guess I won't be doing one.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this earlier. The Mandeville High School put out this year, the coach is really a great coach. And they're building a $30 million sports complex, the whole thing. And then they've got a website now specialized to get it off of Facebook and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mandeville Skipper Football. And they've got a little link on the top, your action photos, and it's got my link.
Right.
It's going to have my name on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made a page for them to go to just keep them with me.
Right.
And this is the page that I stuck up there that he's linking to it. So it's like this. It's got the club information for 2025. It's got my regular picture, but you notice this one right here. That's what I look like on the sidelines when I'm out there. So I made one of those for me, and I got it all. You click on this right here, it goes to my site, and then that gives you click on this, it will come up and it'll give you stuff. You can read it all and see how much it's going to cost you for this year.
Right.
And then I love this part: capture your skipper's action sports memories one frame at a time.
Okay. There you go.
I made that together last night in about 10 minutes.
Good. That's good.
I know websites. I know how to make those, you know. But I like the fact I like the little figure of me standing there holding my camera with all
Yeah.
my patches and all my uniform that I wear out there, and my headband I wear. You know, if it's breast awareness, I have a pink headband.
Mm,
If they have camo night, I wear a camo headband. So I always match whatever theme they got.
okay.
They get a kick out of that. All the cheerleaders run up to me and say, "We love your headband. We love
Mhm.
all of them." But that's a brand. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
keeping that brand going.
Uh-huh.
Makes them look and remember.
That's it. Branding is important.
That's what it's all about. We thought you fell out your chair, Paul. We thought you were on the ground. We wondered you had your phone.
No, I went and counted ship real fast.
Take
Yeah, you
Boone
must
with
have gone fast because you didn't tell anybody.
Well, I didn't take my wallet with me with my driver's license or my ID. I didn't take my cell phone either. So this getting old sucks, Dre.
Like I say, I'm
Bingo.
right there with you. Taking all these medications in the morning, and that when I get home from work.
Yeah, it just sucks. But it is what it is, right?
Yep. I say, as long as I'm still vertical, I can't complain too much.
Yeah, you got to stay vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dre don't mind being horizontal every once in a while.
Dude,
Well, Dre,
I was getting so antsy in that hospital, man. I was about ready. I told the doctor, I said, I feel you guys have took me from patient status to test status. But they were giving me all these different drugs trying to control my blood pressure. I'm like, dude, I'm sure I'm not the only person who's ever had high blood pressure around here. You guys keep trying to give me 3 or 4 different drugs. You know what
Yeah.
works.
Find out which one
Send me
works.
home with it. See what happens. I'll be back in a couple weeks, and then you can switch. But don't be coming here almost every day talking about we're gonna try this, we're gonna try that. The word try come out of a doctor's mouth is about the most disconcerting word you can ever hear. We're gonna try something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a challenge every day. Now, I can't sleep in a bed. I have to sleep in a recliner.
Right.
And so when the power went out the other day in the morning, like about 6 o'clock in the morning, came back on at 8. But when it went out at 6, here I am in this power recliner, reclined back, and the motors don't work, and I gotta get my ass out of the recliner.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, what's up, Randy?
he said a bolt broke. I wonder why.
Yep.
So what'd you use to fly the ship today?
The Air 2S.
Okay, you went back to your
That's my go-to drone is the Air 2S.
was your go-to drone?
I don't fly the Flip.
Okay.
You did the other day, but you haven't tried it since you fixed it.
Nope. Don't
There was
plan
no
on
wind.
try- I don't plan
you
on
should
trying it.
You should have tried it. You fixed it.
I gotta find
You'll see
somebody
it.
that might want to buy it.
You'll see a big difference in it.
Now, the Flip, does it have I'm not sure all the features of the Flip. Does it do any tricks like the Avata 2?
No.
I don't think.
Okay. I know that Avata 2 does that 180 slide trick.
It does a flip too.
It does a flip too.
It
That's why I was
does the
wondering if
power
Flip
loop now
actually has
too.
I was wondering if this Flip actually did a flip.
Yeah, it does a power loop, but you better make sure that you're
Yeah,
10
that
feet off the
altitude.
ground, and you better make sure you don't gun it in the middle of the flip. Because you changed all the physics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you guys pretty much talk it out here this morning?
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, we can keep it going or we can shut it down, whatever you guys think.
Well, it sounds like you want to go because you always want to bring it up.
No, because I don't want to be a burden on anybody.
Well, I know you guys are getting close to lunchtime over there. It's still morning for me.
It's 11:03.
Yeah,
What's it? 7:03 or 8:03 there?
8:03. Yeah,
8:03.
All right.
10:03 here.
And I went by a little close by little restaurant, had my breakfast. That's why I didn't come on right away. I was eating when TJ was here. So, like I said, this is my half day. I'll be getting out of here probably around noon or 1 o'clock. Now I go fly that job out in Rancho Cucamonga.
How's the weather been out there, Ray?
It's
Another
beautiful,
block.
and now it's getting ugly hot. Yesterday was in the 90s. Today supposed to be in the 90s. You know, the weekend supposed to be a little bit cooler, down into the mid 80s.
Now, is
Yeah.
there anything specific you have to do when you fly in hot weather?
Mindful of your batteries.
Batteries overheating and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Obviously, when I used to fly the Phantoms, that was a big concern. You know, because the Phantoms would overheat fairly easy. That's why, back then I tell people, don't try to run the batteries completely out. Bring it back at 30%. That way you stay out of that overheating range and stuff. With the Mavic 3E, the way it's designed, it has vents that flow into the battery area and lets the heat come out the back. It makes a big difference. Those batteries hardly ever go over 100 degrees. Very rarely. Like today, they'll get over 100 degrees a day. The job I got to do today will take about 2 1/4 batteries while I do today and stuff.
So when
like I
you
said,
switch those batteries out, are they hot?
No. When the Mavic on the 3E, they're not extremely hot because I bring them back right about 30%.
Yeah.
So like I said, I keep them from letting them go get extremely hot. And that was always the problem with the Mavic 2 Pro. No ventilation to the battery area, so they heat up real easy. Same way with the Phantom, even though it had the slits in each one of the arms, but it was so far out and it would cool the electronics out in the main body, but not where the battery cavity was at. There was no ventilation going in there to keep the heat, dissipate the heat better. So, yeah, I tell people different drones for different jobs. Today's a mapping job. I'll be using the 3E today, and that's it.
Hey, Joe, have you noticed any overheating or anything with your Neo?
None. Only drone I've ever had that overheated on me was the Mini 3 Pro. And it was only overheated on me the day I was updating everything on my desk. So now whenever I do any updates on that, I put a little portable fan up there.
Yeah.
Stop.
Hey, Paul, my prop said I'll give you 200 for it.
Mad props. Thanks. Just the drone? Okay. No controller or anything? No extra batteries?
Just the battery. Stop. No. I'm not giving you anything right now. You wait till I eat.
Well, he's giving you 2. I'll give you 3.
Bidding war.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I guess I'm going to shut it down.
All right.
Okay,
You
sir.
guys
Hey,
enjoy
thanks for
the
coming
rest of
in,
your
Ed. We'll see you later
day.
today. Joe,
You guys
will
have
we
a
see
good
you
one.
tonight?
So far.
Okay. And Dre, you're always welcome, my friend.
I appreciate that, Paul.
Bye.